just carrying a 50-pound sack of mineral salt, garlic mineral salt, out to put in the feeder and move the field lines for the morning. It is ungodly early. We were trying to get an even earlier start this morning because Tuesdays have all of a sudden become complicated on the farm. And today, even more complicated because I didn't finish mowing the 25 acres I needed to cut yesterday. So it means I have to go back there today after a dental appointment right in the middle of the day. And I would spend the morning milking and chores and then getting ready. Gotta open this gate. Getting ready to take the wrapper and the rake over to the field. And then after my appointment, I'll go over there, drop off the trailer, put the mower back on, and finish mowing. I could only mow 3 acres an hour yesterday. Those fields are so rough, and there's so many ditches in them that I just couldn't make any progress. But that is almost twice the speed that I was mowing them with the small mower. So the big mower has definitely helped. I would not have been able to do what I did yesterday with the little mower. So that's good. On my trip to the feed store yesterday, I bought this Redmond mineral salt with garlic. It really helps reduce the flies in the cows. So we noticed they have access to the mineral bar when in the big field, and they've been down in the forest, and then we've been buffer feeding them, trying to get this grass to grow in the field because we still don't have much rain. So I noticed when they got back to the field, they weren't accessing the mineral bar that much, and they were loaded with flies. Well, they were out of the mineral salt, so they had the regular mineral salt without the garlic. They're not touching that. They really like the garlic stuff. So I'm going to refill this, and we'll talk about what happened yesterday in a minute. This mineral bar, I may have talked about it previously on the channel, holds 18 different minerals. We were doing an individual mineral program for quite a few years to try and get the baseline minerals. The idea is the cows choose what minerals they're lacking and load up on them, and then they excrete them, and that goes back into the ground, and you start to build up the mineral profile in the ground. We did that for a number of years. I kind of stopped doing it both because our soil tests were starting to improve dramatically, and things like calcium and magnesium and like some of the micronutrients, boron and molybdenum and some things like that were starting to improve and come up. Right now we're just using it for calcium and magnesium because those help postpartum in the cows, and they seem to like those. A little bit of sulfur I still keep on hand because also that helps, and it goes back in the soil, which increases the grass growth. And mostly use it for salt, and during the summer we use the garlic salt to help reduce the flies. So that's hugely important. All right, we're moving lines. Fortunately, the heifers are in, so I don't have them pressuring me this morning, and I could just take my time. So Tuesday, I didn't get the field mowed yesterday. I had lost track of what time it was because I was trying to use the GPS to track my progress and how much I was cutting. So I lost track of time. I didn't have a clock. Normally my phone sits there and the clock shows. So I had no idea that it was getting as late as it was, but I also knew that I forget on that tractor how far you can go to empty. It's further than I thought. I have to fill up to the tractor this morning. I'll know in a minute how much fuel I used yesterday. tell you what, the ground is rock hard when it doesn't rain. It is some hard putting these posts in. Anyway, so I finally realized between lack of fuel and needing to get home and about a 40-minute drive home that I better stop mowing. I was no chance I was gonna get even mowing the easy section of what I had left. There was no way I was gonna get done. So I had to make a plan for today. Now I needed to get that hay cut yesterday because we knew we were gonna make hay out of it. Now I'll be baling it for haylage or silage or whatever tomorrow, what I cut today. Because I only have help tomorrow afternoon and Thursday to collect, move bales and wrap them, or anything else we have to do. And it's 12 miles over there and 12 miles back. I can't haul the green bales back here and wrap them here, so I'm bringing the wrapper there today. So we can make some silage tomorrow. And then we're gonna, hopefully, the pieces that I cut yesterday, which were intentionally cut yesterday for hay, hopefully they'll be ready for hay on Thursday. Now I thought it was supposed to be in the 80s for the next 4 days. It turns out we're overcast and we've got haze. That's the sun. We've got the haze from the Canadian wildfires. So it's gonna be cooler for the next 3 days. Fortunately, I got it cut and dropped. The bulk of what we needed for hay, got it dropped yesterday. So it'll cure. Now, I don't have time today to work on the fields. I'm only gonna bring the equipment over there and mow what's left to mow so that it's ready to make silage tomorrow. And then tomorrow, first thing, I will rake the hay fields. I'm not tedding it. I'll rake it into windrows. It will have yesterday and today to cure. Rake it into windrows. It'll cure tomorrow. And then we'll bale it in the afternoon on Thursday. It won't be probably true hay. And they'll need to be wrapped. But neither Greg or I have storage out inside for round bales, so at least I don't. I don't know if he may be changed, but anyway, we'll wrap the hay bales, and it doesn't matter if there's a bit of moisture in them then, they'll cure. So anyway, I got back. I left there at 7:30. I got back here just after 8, and still had all the evening chores to do. Pigs were out of water. Cows had knocked their trough over because it got too low and they were messing around with it. All livestock chores need to be done, and milking. 9 o'clock, when I was ready to start milking, 2 hours late, Allison had actually finished making cheese and was in the cleanup phase and came out to help. Normally on cheese making days, I milk solo, and I'm sort of used to that now and the rhythm of that. And so I totally missed the cues, being tired and exhausted and slightly frazzled from not completing what I needed to complete and trying to plan today. And so I forgot to turn on the bulk tank last night so that the milk would chill. Because you can only, on cheese making days, obviously the tank gets drained, the milk goes into the vat to make cheese, and and then it gets washed, cleaned, and sanitized just before milking. All that was done appropriately. But it has to have a minimum volume of 10 gallons of milk in it, or it will freeze. If you turn it on early, you put the milk in, it will freeze immediately, 10 gallons certainly. So you have to have the milk in it and then turn it on. By the time the rest of the milk is added, it all comes down to temperature and nothing freezes. So it has to go on after the week. Milk in pairs. So after the second cohort is usually when I turn on the bulk tank and then finish up with the remaining milkings. For whatever reason last night, despite reminders, despite procedures that we follow, I totally forgot to flick the switch. And I woke up this morning early and remembered the power had gone out last night, and we have some automatic lights that come on when the power comes back on. And so they were on. So we'd lost power, and I suddenly realized, because one of our concerns when we lose power is, does the compressor on the bulk tank reset? I realized, well, wait a minute. I hadn't turned on the compressor. And so we spent this morning dumping milk. Damn, this ground is hard. I was originally just going to mow some yesterday and go back and mow some more today, bale some today, get it wrapped. But when Greg said he wanted mostly hay from those fields, and I realized that would be a good thing to do and it would work with my appointment schedule, I reset everything. And Greg only has, because he delivers milk, he only has a few days, a few afternoons when he can help in the field. So getting everything coordinated has been a challenge. And then today. So yeah, we got up early, and rather than starting milking, we were dumping milk from last night, because obviously it wasn't cold. It was still warm. So I keep records of fuel usage and tractor time, the hours, and so how much. And last year we were using about 2 gallons to the hour on the tractor, 2 gallons of diesel to the hour running the tractor. We'll see what it is. That was for haying, especially. We'll see what it is this year. But specifically, I look back and saw the records for the fields that I cut yesterday. And it took me last year with the small mower and the same tractor about 3 days. I broke it into 3 segments, but the mowing portion seemed to have taken me about 15 hours to do what I did yesterday in 6. And I used something like 37 gallons of diesel. I didn't use anywhere near that this time. And I cannot remember it, my records don't have all the details. And there were some gaps in it from last year. I don't remember if I was mowing in economy mode the whole time like I did yesterday. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm just using the tractor clock, the hours clock on the tractor, and the diesel meter on the tank for those statistics. So I was also last year, with the small mower, I was mowing about 1.25 acres an hour. Given tractor time, acres covered, and fuel usage. We'll see what it is this morning when I fill up the tractor. So almost 17 gallons, 16.9 gallons used. And so that's good to know, because I think the tank is 25 gallons. I have to double check that. That means when the fuel gauge is on the final mark, or in this case it was slightly below that, I still have probably 10 gallons. I didn't remember that from last year, or I rarely run the tractor down that far, so that's good to know. There. I mowed a little over 20 acres at 16.9 gallons, so it's about a 1.18 gallons an acre. But that includes travel time. The clock showed 7.5 hours for yesterday's work with 6 hours mowing, so 1.5 hours of that was travel time. And so the total usage per acre, the tractor fuel consumption was right at 2.25 gallons an hour including travel time and mowing. Mowing itself was just at about a little under 2 gallons an hour, which is a huge savings from last year with the smaller mower, which took me 37 gallons to do the same area and took me 15 hours, almost 17 hours instead of 6, which is great. So on top of everything last night, Luna, who's due on Thursday, decided to show signs of imminent birth last night. Apparently she hasn't given birth yet, but it could be today. So we put her in the pen overnight just to make sure the calf isn't born on the dirty floor of the barn or out in the field and get lost. And we checked on her a couple times last night, nothing. I think it'll probably be today. So anyway, she's confined in there because today we're going to be in and out and gone and appointments. And so if she gives birth, we'll be able to look at the camera and see what happens. I screwed up and forgot to put the pins in the stabilizer bars when I hooked the mower up. And ended up with that. And when I was raising it, catches on the offset hitch pin. So I need to shove the mower that way, get this resolved. Yeah, let's just get these twisted in and get them hooked back together. Well, I can do this one. Almost. There. Yeah, these stabilizer bars keep the mower from swinging back and forth. And you had to pop them off to get the mower hooked up, and I just forgot to do both of them back. I think I ain't gotten too far. All right. The mower really wants to go that way a little bit more, but I think I'm good. So it's a little close into the tire, but at least I won't be making skips in the grass. But this is what it's all about. Sweet smelling meadow hay. Looks like, I mean, it's gone by in many places, but there's a lot of undergrowth coming back through the second. Basically, it's first, second, and third cut all at once. And it's got a great amount of vetch in it. The vetch is in flower, but it hasn't gone to seed. There's also a lot of clover in the bottom. So this is, this is why I hate these fields. I got on here a month later than I wanted to, but it probably helped because these fields tend to be wet. This is a very low area here. Where those willows are is wet, and then down the other side and over there is wet. So given this lack of rain, means I'm not not marring up these fields like I did the other ones, and I'm not pissing any landowners off. All right, that's me done. That is that's me done. That is 7 acres plus, mown in 2.5 hours. Not too shabby. Given the ground conditions and how bumpy everything is. And that does not include travel time, so I'm about to start my 40-minute journey home. We are awaiting the birth of our last calf of this year. And Luna's been in the pen for a couple of days now because she seemed like she really wanted to be in there and that she was close to giving birth. But we'll see. This is the first morning check today. We did not have the moo call on her because I forgot to charge the moo call. It always happens this way in a year. I don't see anything. Huh. I have to go in there and see. Guess I better put my coffee down. Well, no calf. Would have been convenient if she'd had it yesterday. It would have been more convenient if she had it yesterday. Convenient if she had it right now. So I'm going to be gone in the hayfield all day. Allison's making cheese. Tomorrow we're both gone. Tomorrow's her due day. She's calved twice before on her own. I'm not worried about that. Just like we'd just like to be there to make sure the baby's okay. Alright, I'm raking the second field with the hay bob, and I am falling out of love with it. It's not a good combination for the new big mower and uneven, odd-shaped fields because it's just not able to get enough coverage on the ground. It'll capture 2 of the mower swaths if they're exactly parallel and the same width apart. Otherwise it misses strips on either side. And I can only bunch up so much, so I've got all these thin wispy windrows. It's not like I can go up one and back down the other like you can with a side delivery rake or a rotary rake and build a bigger windrow. The only other option is to go around and around again a second time and try to merge 2 windrows. It would drive me insane. It's going well. I'm making good time. Raked 6 acres. I'm raking another 6 acres now. I'm almost done with this field. It's taking about a half hour each field, but I'm doing a crappy job and I'm leaving hay behind and it's driving me crazy. And also, it's that much more work for the baler now. I've got all these thin, narrow windrows. The baler really wants a wide, thick, healthy windrow to eat the hay, and I just can't build it. And so I think that's a lot of the problem with the baler is the windrows just aren't big enough. Well, it's just gone 2 o'clock and I'm still raking. And I've had word from Allison at the farm that the cows got out and we're on Route 220. Which is not a good road for anybody to be on, let alone our cows, which cost us a lot of money. Fortunately, no property was damaged and no cows were damaged, although I'm worried about my neighbor's garden. Apparently, Allison and I were both too preoccupied with what we had to do today, and we forgot to let them out of the barnyard, and they decided to let themselves out of the barnyard, but they didn't let themselves into the field. They let themselves into the lane, which goes out past the house and onto the road. And there's no gates there. And that's my fault. Because I go up and down there 10 times a day. And I can't be fussing with gates all that time. So there's just one hot wire that 99% of the time is fine. Apparently today it wasn't. And I'm 40 minutes away and still raking hay, and I really need to be baling right now because I don't know if that baler's going to work. So I'm a little agitated. She's very agitated. She's trying to make cheese today. Never good to interrupt the cheese maker on a make day. And I probably still have another hour on this field to rake because of how slow it's going and how bumpy it is. Well, everything seems to be, knock on wood, going well, and we're making bales. So Greg could be here in a half hour to start collecting and wrapping, I'll have to be done by then, I hope. By the time he gets hooked up and in place, and collect a few bales, group them together, and we'll see what happens. Well, done baling, and we got 21 bales, and I'm busy loading the wrapper. Greg's wrapping. Have a little bit of problem with the wrap, probably because it's last year's wrap and it's old, and this particular spool of wrap has sat out in the sun for a month. Keeps breaking on them, but otherwise it's going good. 2, 4, 6. Oh, buddy, stop! I just wrapped into a bale roll, and he tore the wrap on it. Oh well. You have to move. 10 bales wrapped. That's great. The wrap is giving us problems. So, other than that trim piece of the baler falling off, it was a successful day of baling. No other issues, knock on wood. So that's great. I'm really happy, and I hope tomorrow goes as well. Now, the problem with the tractor, where the hydraulic leaking, however, is getting worse. When I went to unhook the baler, I noticed the 3-point hitch arms were down, even though I was telling them to go up. So that means that using the hydraulics is there's a pressure let off there or something. I don't know. I kept checking the pressure gauge on the baler, and it did a great job. All these are nice tight bales, and the pressure gauge was right where it should be through all the problems. There was a little bit of a problem. The old door open alarm went off maybe 3 or 4 times. That hasn't happened since I fixed it, since it's been earlier in June when I was baling. So, and given how bumpy these fields are, I thought that was great. So yeah, I think that may be some of that pressure let off. So I gotta figure out, I gotta call SR1 back and give them hell, because it's been months. I called them a long time ago and asked them to send a technician out to look and actually to talk to me about getting the parts for the tractor so you can repair it. And this door latch that keeps coming undone, and they never call me back. Now, it is my fault. The tractor sat there mostly unused for a month while I was repairing the baler, and I should have called about the tractor, but I had other things on my mind, like running the farm and what I was going to do with first cut, and would I get the baler fixed. So yeah, I need to get hold of them and get them coming and get that figured out, because leaking hydraulic fluid like crazy when I use the hydraulics back there. Under normal operations, it's not bad, it's just a drip, but it was definitely leaking some today. That's not cool.